is currently a football mastermind waiting to strike and take over the XFL, and I'm going to tell you who that is right now. What's good, Roughnecks fans, and welcome back to the Roughnecks Analyst Podcast. I'm your host, Cullen Watkins, and oh boy, is it a great time to be a XFL fan because training camp is finally underway in Arlington, Texas. All 8 teams have reported, gotten to their hotels, done their physicals, and now is the fun part for all of us fans. We're going to be figuring out who's starting for these teams, starting quarterbacks, quarterback battles. We're going to be, wide receiver standouts. We're going to be finding out who those are, who's going to be the next Cam Phillips of the league, possibly. And we're going to be finding out defensive standouts as well, who's going to lead this league in defense and all of that good stuff. So, I wanted to do a prediction video today, predicting the Roughnecks record. But as soon as I started doing it, I realized we don't know the team yet. We know the players, we know the coaches, but we don't know the team dynamics yet. We don't even know who's starting for the Roughnecks. Nevertheless, predicting all the other 7 teams' record and all that stuff. So it was a mess. But then I realized something. Something hit me. Instead of making a record video, predicting records and all that, how about I dive into the Roughnecks defense? I talk so much about this team's offense, the air raid offense. Broken record at this point. We're going to be throwing the ball a ton in the game. A ton, all right? Air raid offense with A.J. Smith, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But I never talked about the defense of this team, and I wanted to know that, so I went digging. I got my shovel, and I went into the ground, and I started digging for information. And look, I knew Wade Phillips was a defensive coach, but I didn't realize he was like this, all right? I did not know he was this good. So, to answer my intro and to answer, I believe, maybe the thumbnail, I haven't decided on the thumbnail yet, the mastermind of the XFL, in my opinion, is Wade Phillips. He's the Oz. He's the Wizard of Oz of this league. He's a older guy, sort of soft-spoken, but don't let that fool y'all, all right? He is going to, mark my words, and you can argue with me in the comments all you want. I want to hear it, actually. Wade Phillips is going to take over this league in defense. The Houston Roughnecks are going to have the best defense in the league by far. All right, and that's going to carry us pretty far into the playoffs. We're going to be a playoff team after looking at this Wade Phillips defense. And I'm not just saying this to be biased at all. I've been looking to other teams, and other teams have been very good looking too. Just to introduce Wade Phillips a little bit more if you don't know already. 40 years of college and pro coaching experience. He's the most experienced coach out of all the coaches in the XFL. His head coaching record in the NFL and I believe in college too. 83-69 record with 1 Super Bowl win, Super Bowl 50 with the Denver Broncos. And listen to this. This should make you all excited. This makes me really excited. Under Wade Phillips, he has had 5 Defensive Player of the Year awards and 2 Defensive Rookie of the Year award winners. Jeez, that's who I want leading my defense. I'm sorry. And, he's coached guys like Reggie White, J.J. Watt, Aaron Donald. Who's going to be those guys on this Roughnecks team? Just think about that. That's going to be fun to look. And we may get that answer in training camp, too. Who knows? But career highlights, he was with the Oilers in New Orleans when early year with his dad, Bum Phillips. He spent time with the Eagles early on in his career as a defensive coordinator, that's where he coached like Reggie White, and they won the NFC East Championship in 1988. 1988. I'm born way, way later than 1988. Then he has a short stint with the defensive coordinator as the Broncos and the Bills defensive coordinator. Then he becomes the head coach of the Cowboys in the 2000s. He makes the 2007 playoffs. And this is actually a fun fact. He actually takes over the defensive coordinator position at Dallas from Brian Stewart. Brian Stewart is the Houston Roughnecks defensive coordinator. So that's back in like 2008, the two crossed paths pretty much. Wade Phillips took Brian Stewart's job, and now they're working with each other. Wade Phillips as head coach and Brian Stewart as defensive coordinator. I thought that was a really cool fact. I never knew that, actually. Always learn something new. In 2011, he became defensive coordinator for the Houston Texans. That's where I really remember him the most. He greatly improved the defense. I believe that's the year J.J. Watt was doing his thing, or I can't remember exactly when we got J.J. Watt. But then he became an interim head coach for Gary Kubiak due to health conditions and all that. He won Super Bowl 50 eventually with the Broncos, holding Cam Newton's Panthers to just 10 points. So that's where he won a Super Bowl. That's the Panthers-Broncos Super Bowl. Cam Newton was just having a great year that year. He holds them to 10 points in the Super Bowl. And then he made it to Super Bowl 53 with Sean McVay with the Rams. That was the Patriots Rams Super Bowl. That may have been with Travis Scott and SpongeBob at the halftime show? I can't really remember. And he holds Tom Brady and the Patriots to no score until the fourth quarter. He held the Tom Brady passing offense to pretty much 13 points, but they started running the ball, whatever. We're not going to get into that. We're not talking about NFL. So that's his coaching experience. And as you can tell in his Super Bowls, he's held really good teams to really, really impressively low scoring numbers. Again, holding Cam Newton that year to 10 points and holding a Tom Brady offense to just 13 points. He would have had himself another Super Bowl if the Rams offense performed better. And then you think to yourself, he's coaching in the XFL. He's coaching with these guys, these young players that we don't know yet. We don't know if there's young stars on this team. If there are, this league is in danger. I'm telling y'all, this league is in danger. So why is he a mastermind? You know, I gave y'all his coaching career, his coaching highlights. Now, all that stuff looks good on paper, but let's talk, why is he a mastermind? Why am I excited, and why should you be excited? First and foremost, like I said earlier, he has the most coaching experience out of all the head coaches in the XFL. A lot of the head coaches in the XFL, this is like their really first professional head coaching job. And it's tough when I'm trying to look up the other coaches, their coaching schemes and stuff. I can't find anything because they haven't had that experience yet. You know, there's no film to watch on their head coaching, style and whatnot. But with Wade Phillips, we know his stuff works. We can't really say that about the other XFL coaches, which isn't a bad thing. I love all the hires. But what does this help? What does this experience help? Well, first of all, this helps player relationships. He knows how to manage his players. He's been doing it since the 80s. He knows how to deal with players of all types. Game strategy, he's been in every single game situation. He's been in a Super Bowl. He's been under pressure. He knows what to do, and this is going to come in clutch no matter what situation the Roughnecks are in this season. And two, just general overall management. He's how to manage players, who to play, all that. We're in good hands. He knows what he's doing. But then he has his iconic 3-4 defense. I think this is going to suffocate the league. All right, I'm going to say it right now. This is going to suffocate all the quarterbacks and the running backs in this league. If you aren't familiar with the 3-4 defense, it's a special type of Wade Phillips specific defense that he runs, where you have your three guys in the trenches, three guys like linemen in the dirt. Then you have your four sort of like linebackers. Usually two are rushing on the edge. And then you have two almost like inside middle linebackers right behind the linemen. And they can either, go into coverage or get the running back. And the edge rushers can either get to the quarterback, running back, or they can go back into coverage. A lot of different options. I'm not going to get into the real deep football stuff on this because I could honestly do that with another video. And I'm still learning it myself, so I don't feel like I'm comfortable enough to really tell y'all fully how this Wade Phillips 3-4 defense works. I know the basics of it, but nowhere near what Wade Phillips knows because he made the thing. But I think this will suffocate the league, this 3-4 defense. Quarterbacks, it's hard on quarterbacks and it's hard on the running game. We hold the running game. We force quarterbacks to throw the ball. That's how picks happen. That's how we win football games, you know? So, yeah, it is hard to run against this defense that Wade Phillips run. It's really, really hard. And the passing game, like I said, gets disrupted too. He uses what we call single gap instead of a two gap. This is from my understanding again. You know, two gap, normally these players are going to have to make reads and make adjustments on the fly as soon as the play starts. You're going to have to read which hole to go into, which player, all that. Wade Phillips coaches using a single gap system. That's where these players are almost like pre-assigned to a certain lane or certain place to go. So they don't have to read. They can just, as soon as the play starts, as soon as the snap starts, bam, they're moving and they're aggressive. And it's specific to Wade Phillips, which is so exciting and so cool. It's going to disrupt plays. It's going to disrupt plays early on too. I'm talking about first downs, second downs. We're going to be getting into the backfield on first and second downs. And that disrupts the whole drive for an offense. You know, it really does. And hopefully this works out to where, bam, sack or, you know, loss of yards on first or second down. Bam, they're forced to make a long pass, either incomplete or we intercept it. And then our offense can get on the field and score quick. You know, we're going to be very fast-paced. This defense is pretty much, in my opinion, just another version of our offense. They're going to be very high-powered and they're going to be fast. Oh, they're going to be fast and athletic. So, and the outside linebackers too. So again, we got our three, like bam, 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 our three linemen, two outside linebackers, usually rushing on the edge, and then our two sort of inside linebackers right behind them who are going to read if a running back makes a play or, you know, if it's a pass play, they're going to go into coverage. But these edge guys, these outside linebackers, it's so good to see. I love seeing the film of this stuff. If you look at the Rams defense of Wade Phillips, or if you look at the Broncos defense of Wade Phillips, it's almost like an art form to see how he uses these outside edge rushers pretty much. First and foremost, if the offense is going for an outside run, those guys will be there, and if those guys aren't there, you have your middle linebackers to come in and back up. But if a quarterback is passing and you have these sharp edge rushers going around, that's putting pressure on the quarterback right away. He's going to have to make a read. He's going to have to make a decision. He's going to have to throw the ball. That's how mistakes are made. But it's the way that these outside linebackers work with these defensive linemen, you know. Think about Aaron Donald, right? Wade Phillips was able to put Aaron Donald in a position when he was with the Rams to get to the quarterback using these linebackers. That's what it's all about. It's all about just disrupting the O-line and just getting into the pocket. And that's what he's going to be able to do with these linebackers and with these defensive linemen using his 3-4 defense. And again, like I said, you may try to prepare for it. I'm sure Cam Newton and the Panthers prepared for it. I'm sure Tom Brady and the Patriots prepared for it. But it's hard to execute against. You know, if you want to go against a 3-4 defense, you got to have good blockers, a good O-line. What do we know about spring football? And no hate against spring football at all. But spring football O-linemen usually struggle a little bit because you're playing professional football again, you know? It's not college anymore. So it's going to be tough for teams to go against this 3-4 defense. It really is, because you have to block good to get holes open for your, you know, running back, quarterback, or just to give your quarterback enough time to get a pass off. So that's why I'm saying, you know, Wade Phillips, he is a soft-spoken guy. But, oh boy, is his football brain top-notch. His football brain is as good as anyone in this league. But what are the players, you know, we're going to be needing? We already got our players. I already did a draft video maybe a few weeks ago. So if you want a full draft breakdown, go watch that video. But, you know, given the players that we drafted, how are they going to fit into this 3-4 defense? And I did some researching. I did some digging. Luckily, I already sort of knew these guys from that past video. But our middle linebackers, pretty much, they're going to need to be great tacklers, and they're going to need to be able to, be fast and athletic to get to the running back wherever he goes. There's some good running backs in this league. Abram Smith, he's probably my favorite running back in this league, Abram Smith. He's going to be a beast. He's with the DC Defenders. But you're going to have guys like that, and we're going to need middle linebackers who are going to be able to read that and get to him quick to try and minimize the amount of yards gained for the offense. So we have DeAndre Johnson. This is just, I'm highlighting a few of these players who I think are going to really benefit in this 3-4 defense. We got DeAndre Johnson from Miami, Tavante Beckett, Diego Fagot. All of these guys are great tacklers. They put up great numbers in college. They're physically fit, and they're really athletic. So I expect those three guys to really step up, and I think they're going to do really good. And then we go to the trenches, the D-line. We're going to need big guys, big and strong and fast guys like Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt, whatever. So we're going to need guys to take up blockers. So a few guys I'm thinking of, Elijah Qualls. He's 6'1", 337 pounds. I believe he might be, from when I last checked, the heaviest, biggest guy on the roster. So he's going to be probably used more as a nose guard to try and push the O-line back. We got Austin Edwards. He's 6'5", 273 pounds, 6'5". Honestly, I could see him possibly even rushing on the edge. We really don't know what Wade Phillips is going to do. And then another one of my favorite players from, I believe, Coastal Carolina, CJ Brewer. He's 6'2", 210 pounds. Real athletic guys, 210 pounds, 6'2". I guarantee you, I guarantee you, CJ Brewer is not a slow guy. All right, he's probably faster than any of us watching this video. But that's the guys we need, and I trust that Wade Phillips did his homework. I know he did his homework, actually. And we have defensive coordinator Brian Stewart. He's worked with Wade Phillips before, I'm sure. Clearly, Wade Phillips liked what he saw with Brian Stewart. So Brian Stewart is only going to help this defense. So in conclusion, Wade Phillips has the experience, personnel, and defensive pieces in place to really make this Houston Roughnecks team a top contender. All right, I talked about our offense before. I really like it. Am I worried about some aspects? Yes, I am, but the defense looks really solid, folks. If you're a Roughnecks fan, this defense is going to be real fun to watch. And if you're not a Roughnecks fan, be careful. I am telling y'all right now, this defense has the potential to lead the league in sacks, possibly interceptions, and just lack of yards. A lot of these teams that we're going to be playing, it's going to be tough for them to get yards. It's going to be real tough for them to get yards. So it's going to be curious, or we're going to be curious to see, how are these other teams going to prepare for the Roughnecks each week. Of course, our first game is against the Orlando Guardians. I believe DeAndre Francois is starting for Orlando. That's just my guess. How are they going to prepare? We're going to have to see, but most importantly, this 3-4 defense, it's worked against Cam Newton, Tom Brady, NFL offenses, so I'm thinking it will transition perfectly into a XFL type setting, which is why I'm excited, and which is why I believe Wade Phillips is truly a hidden mastermind of the XFL. He has NFL experience. That really, we could just end the conversation there. He has tons of NFL experience. He is going to be a mastermind of this defense. He's going to help on the offense, but this defense is going to be something special, folks. So watch out for my other videos coming out here soon as training camp does progress. More than likely, my next video will come out when I'm back in Houston. So I'm back in my normal setting. I can't wait. I love that little recording room there. But keep an eye out for record predictions, player predictions, and I don't know, maybe some coverage just on training camp in general. So folks, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button, and if you haven't already, hit that like button. It helps out my channel a lot. Go Roughnecks, baby. I'll see y'all on the next video. Let's go.